Hello again and welcome. And today we're going to work with this data where we have a number of variables. And remember, when we started this class, we saw that when you have data, it's important to understand the characteristics of your data set. So in this case, we can see that we have employees, and then we have salary. And then we have a number of other variables, including years of previous experience, years employed, years education, gender, department, and number supervised. So this kind of data, you can see that the main thing here is the salary. And therefore, we are trying to find what determines the salary. And so we could say salary is a function of a number of these variables. So the first one is years of previous experience, years employed, years of education, gender, department, and number supervised. And so we may have other variables which are not mentioned that could actually contribute to the salary, but we haven't mentioned here, so we can say etc. and other factors. So you can see that salary is numerical. We have numerical data. Years of previous experience also is numerical. Years employed is the same, years of education. But when you look at gender, we have 0 and 1. That means we have dummy variable, where female 0 and 1 represents male. So if it's not male, it is something else, and it's female. So that's how we can express this. And therefore, we have two categories. One category is for ones, and another category is for zeros. So this is non-numerical variable. When it comes to department, we can also see that we have a number of categories. The first category is sales, the second one is purchasing, third is advertising, and fourth is engineering. So gender is not numerical, but it is categorical variable. And finally, we have number supervised. And in this case, you can see that we have different values, and so it is numerical. Now, to summarize this data, all we have to do is to deal with one type of data first. So we're going to deal with the non-numerical data. So in this case, we can start dealing with gender. And so with gender, as I have said, we have 0, that is for female, and 1, which is for male. And so let's go with item. So I'm going to put equal sign and click 1. So I want to refer to 1, which is male. And also I'm going to put equal sign and click on 0, and that will show. If we make any changes here, then this will also change. Let's say here, if it's male, then you can see that it will also change here. But let's consider 1. Now, as we learned before, for non-numerical values, we can only count. So here for, let's say 0, which represents a female, so we can count how many zeros do we have, and that will tell us how many females are there. And if we want to know how many males are there, then we will count ones. So let's see our frequency, the number of occurrence of these values. And so just put equal sign and then count. And we want to count if it is 1. So we'll select count if. So let me click on this, and then we need to find the range. And so the range will be the column, and then put comma sign. And we are asked to provide criteria. And criteria is 1. So we want to count from this range, and values which will be counted should be 1. And so close the bracket and enter. So you can see we have 22 ones. And so we can do the same. Let me repeat again so we can get used to this. If you put equal sign, then put the function, which is count. But we want to count if from this range anything or any value is 0. So we will select count if. And so we go to the range, which is gender, and then put comma and select criteria, which is 0. And so count from this range if the value is 0. So if you can enter, you can see that we have 24. Now, sometimes we may want to copy the formula which we have created here. So just drag down and you can see it is 24 because we are using exactly the same formula. We can total. So we want to add these two values. So we can put equal sign and then we can type sum, and we will select this function and then highlight these two values, close the bracket and enter. So you can see we have the total, which is 46. Now we can find the relative frequency as we did before. So we know that ones happen 22 times out of 46 times, which is the total. So if we put equal sign, we'll take 22 divide by 46. And so you can enter, you can see we have 0.48. Now let's make this 2 decimal points. So we can go up here and let's reduce the decimals, and you can see we have 0.48. Then we would like to copy down the formula. However, you can see that this relative frequency was obtained by taking 22 divided by 46, and also would like to have 24 divided by 46 to get the relative frequency of female. However, if we copy this formula way down like this, you can see that it doesn't work, because in this case you will see that we are taking 24 divided by this cell which has nothing, but we want to refer to this particular cell. So what we can do in this case is to change to 10, meaning that we are taking 24 divided by 46, and if you can enter, you can see we have 0.52. However, if we need to copy the formula from this one, all we have to do is to just to lock down this cell, and we can lock it down by putting the $sign in both sides. Put the $signs. Now, if you're using Windows, you can put your mouse here where it is right now and just click F4, and you can see the $signs will be there. If you're using Mac, just hold down Function key and then click F4. You will see that it will put the $signs. If your computer won't do it, you tried it and it doesn't work, just type the $sign in between this cell, and so you will see what we are looking for, and you will be able to lock down this the total. And in that case, you can copy down the formula, and you can see we got it, meaning that it will refer to this particular value. So 24 divided by 46. It won't move down to another cell. So here we have this total. And in fact, we can also go to up to this point. You can see that 46 divided by 46 is 1. So we can find the percentage relative frequency. To find percentage relative frequency, all we can do is just to copy these values, and then we'll find the percentage of them. So I'll put equal sign, click on this value and enter. So we are referring to this value, and we can also copy the formula all the way down, meaning that we are referring to this column, and so we have the same values. However, what we want to do here is to make these values, make them instead of decimal points, we're going to make the percentage. And so just click on percent style, and you can see that we have 48% ones or male, and 52% zero, which is female. So let me write here male and here female. So since we have relative frequency, we can actually create the pie chart to represent these values or to visualize these values. And so we can go to the insert, and then we can go to the chart and just select the pie chart. Will you please select the 3D? So let me repeat again. Just go to the insert. Click on the insert. You could actually go to the recommended charts, but you can go to this pie chart and select 3D pie chart. It looks much better. And once you have your chart, all you need to do is to organize yourself. And in this case, you need to provide it a title. So you can say gender distribution. However, we need to remove this value because we need to just look for the pie chart for the two, female and male. So let's remove the total. And in this case, you can see that we have at least two sections that are making this. And let me remove the legend or do a number of things. Now, if you're using Windows, you can see that we have this menu. And so you can work with this to change the colors, to filter, and also to do a number of changes. If you're using Mac, you won't see this menu, and you can see add chart elements, and so you can work from here. So with chart elements, all you can do is just drop down here. You can see the chart title. You may remove the title if you don't want, but we need the title, which is gender distribution. And you can go to the data labels if you want to put data. So you can see we have those values. You can put them inside or outside, or you can put them at the center, or the best fit. And so you have more label options. You can go with them. You can use legends, or you can remove the legends. So let me remove them. Now, for those who are using Windows, you can actually use this menu as well, where we have this plus. And so you can also change the chart title and the data labels. So let me show you a little bit more about the data labels. So you can click this arrow and go to the more options. With more options, you can see that you can change from values to percentage, and so remove the values, remove the series. You can include the legends, or you can remove them. So anyways, that's what we can do for the pie chart. And so I will show you something different for the other non-numerical value, which is department. And all I'm going to do is to combine between the two. We're going to combine gender and department. And in this case, we will need to use pivot table. So if you're using Windows, you can click Insert and you can see pivot table. But if you're using Mac, you can see pivot table available here. So let's go with the pivot table. And we want to show the range of values. So I can select all these columns, and I want to deal with it in this worksheet. Otherwise, we could go to the new worksheet if you want to. So you can click OK. And so you can see we have pivot table fields, and so we have all these fields. And then we have filters, we have columns, we have rows and values. So we can use all this to create a table that will include a number of variables. As I said, we want to put gender and departments together. And in this case, we're going to find how many females are there in a certain department, and so how many males are there. So we can decide to put gender in the row. And so what we can do is just grab this and drop it here. And then we're going to grab department and put it here, meaning that we want departments to be in columns, and also we want gender to be in rows. So you can see we have created this table where we have gender in rows and departments in columns. But we need values, and so we're going to grab department again to create the values. So I'll drop department here, and you can see now we have the number of we have some numbers. However, you can see the total is no longer 46, but it's 131. We have 84 here, and in fact we don't have these values, and so you can find out what happened. So if you go back to the pivot table, you will see that here we are looking for the sum of department. And remember, for the non-numerical values, we don't sum, but we count. And that's why it's very important to know how to deal with the non-numerical values and also numerical values. And therefore, we need to change this to count. And so click here. And all we need to do is to deal with the value field settings. So when you click on that, you can change how do we summarize the values. And we want to count, and so we're going to select count and click OK. So we're not summing the values again, we are counting them. And so you can see by count, we have 46, and we have female, which is 0, 24, and male 22. That's what we did before. And in this case, we can see the number of females and males in each department. So department 1 has got 6 female and 4 male, and the total is 10. The second one is 3 and 5, and the total is 8. The third one is 4, and the total is 7. And the last one is we have 11 females, and also we have 10 males, and the total is 21. And when you sum this, you get 46. When also you sum this, you get 46. And so that's the good use of pivot table. And we will learn more about the use of pivot table, especially in visualizations. And because we still have functions, we can copy the values. Let's just copy everything. Copy, and we can paste, but not as function. Now we can just paste as values. So you can see we're not pasting as it is, or we're not pasting as, including formulas. We will paste the table just as values. And so you will see that we have now, we can actually work on it. We can do some changes. So here we can remove this. We keep gender and department. And so we can delete this empty space. So in fact, we can remove this now, and here we can delete the column. And so you can see that, let's remove this as well. And that's not even the grand total. Let's say total. And this will be our grand total, this one here. So let me remove this. So this will be our grand total, 46. But we have these other totals for female, male. We have the totals for each department and so forth. You can even change and type female. And also you can change this to be male. And I think that's all we needed to do. So that's how we can analyze and visualize the non-numerical values.